What's going on, guys, and welcome to the newest episode of Blast Beats, hosted by yours truly, Zach Rayner, and one of my greatest friends, Chris Spooner. How you doing, Spoon?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing, Zach?
I'm doing all right. I don't want to bore you guys with outside talk of work and boring things because that's not what we're here for. But I'm making it through, um, and that's all we can ask for. And we had a lot of new music this week that the both of us have listened to. Just want to share some overall feels, vibes that we've gotten from things. Now Chris has listened to a couple more like whole projects than I have, but the both of us have like kind of spent a more time on singles and like new songs that are coming out from upcoming pieces or upcoming albums from artists, second and third singles. So yeah, Chris, if you want to kick us off with some of the stuff that you were listening to this week.
Yeah, so one of the best things that I heard this week was from a death metal band from Sweden called Hypocrisy. They're a really old, I don't want to say really old, but they're one of the kind of pioneers of the Swedish death metal scene. They formed back in 1991, and death metal hasn't really been my jam until pretty recently. So they're kind of a band that I never really paid much attention to. But now that I've started delving into the genre, they're a band that I've been consciously aware of for a while, and now I'm just like, let's give them a shot. So I saw that they had released a new song and thought, perfect opportunity to get my feet wet. So they released a song called Chemical Whore. It's a pretty scathing commentary on society today and our kind of dependence upon pills to get us through the day, through whatever emotional trauma we're dealing with today. And it was fantastic. I was kind of blown away and surprised that I'd never listened to them before. It was really, really heavy, really kind of driving guitars, angry, brutal vocals. It was everything that I want in music, and it was a breath of fresh air in kind of a tough week for me. I've been sick most of the week, so getting to hear that and really kind of discover a band new to me was really refreshing.
Yeah, I mean that sounds sweet, and I mean you listened to some more of the like Swedish and excuse me, and like Viking metal and stuff like that a bit more than I do. So I mean it's kind of cool to find new bands in a genre that you already listened to but like haven't been exposed to yet. And I mean we talk about that all the time with a lot of the stuff that we're listening to. Um, but yeah, one of the songs that I saw this week, and actually last night because I was just doing some searching through the hard rock and metal genre pages on Apple Music as I do. And We Came as Romans, a band that I've seen a couple times at a Warp Tour. They did their lead singer Kyle Pavone, one of their lead singers passed away, I believe in 2016. Maybe 2017. Either 2017 or 2018. That I'm looking at it right now. But they have been a little quiet, and understandably so, since that major event rocked their band and everything. And they've released a few songs since then. Carry the Weight featuring Fit for a King, which was also on like a double single thing with another song called From the First Note. And then they released Dark Bloom. Oh my gosh, I don't know what is going on right now. But then they recently released a song called Black Hole. I believe they released it on yeah, they released it this past Friday. And it features Caleb Shomo, the frontman from Beartooth, and you guys know how much I love Beartooth. And it's pretty solid. Really, I mean, it's really good. The only complaint I have about the song is at the end, the very end of basically the chorus. So there's like a middle part that they do it, and then at the very end of the song, they say black hole, and then they do this really weird electronic effect with him saying hole. and it just starts like going up and down in pitch and all this stuff. And I just that's the only part of the song that I just can't subscribe to. I just can't whatever. But besides that, really solid song. Um, and I will be interested to see if they are releasing some new albums or not albums, a new album or new project here soon, and gearing up for some in a new release post Kyle Pavone, because they did say that he would want them to keep the band going. But yeah, there was that. And then we talked about this right before. Wage War released their third single from Manic, and it's good.
This is one that we've both listened to, and I thought it was really good. They're a band that I'm just starting to be kind of aware of. So this was kind of a really good introduction to them for me. I've heard a couple of their other songs. High Horse, I really liked, but I think Teeth was really really good. A really just classic metalcore sound, and I'm looking forward to whatever they're dropping whenever it comes out.
Let me see because so the way that like Apple Music works is when you're looking at stuff, you can see if it's the next thing coming up when its release date is. So let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Wage War. October 1st.
October
So yeah,
1st, so coming
11,
up.
yeah, 11 song album, October 1st. And I'm hoping there's more songs like Teeth and High Horse as opposed. I mean, Circle the Drain's not bad. It's kind of slower. Um, and I liked the whispering in Teeth. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
That's been something that's been getting. I mean, ASMR. But that's something that's been like a little bit in hip hop from a few MCs and stuff like that. But to have it in metal and rock. I mean, there's a few songs that I have that like started out, but to have it to be like a main part and like
Hmm?
the consistent tone of like the verses, that's really cool. Um, and I mean, I think they've done it before, but they've only done it as like I said, an intro. There's a song they have called Stitch, and it has kind of that same like hushed, like rough whisper kind of feel, but not nearly as like hard as Teeth was. Um, and then that leads me into another third single that I think you listened to this one too. Ice Nine Kills has released their third single from Horrorville, their second their sequel to the Silver Scream. And it's not bad. It's just Spencer Charnas showing how good of a vocalist he is in Uncleans. Um, it doesn't ever really get that heavy. So, I mean,
That was kind of my impression of it too. It was just kind of there. I'm an Ice Nine Kills fan, and this wasn't exactly what I want from my Ice Nine Kills. It was good, don't get me wrong. Spencer's clean vocals are very good. They're aesthetically pleasing, but it didn't go as hard as I wanted it to go.
well, and I mean, not necessarily that they can't have slower songs, but like, and some of the like slower and more clean songs from Spencer are some of my favorites. But I know he can do a lot better than that. Like, there's countless examples of songs that they have done that are far better than that one that are just mainly Spencer and Spencer alone. Um, Now, here's an interesting question because I think the album releases on the 20th, or something of that matter. Let me look because it's in October. I want to say like no, I think the 22nd. But the like how they're doing. Do you know how they're doing their singles?
No.
Okay, so there's a specific theme, and from their announcement of the release date, they have had July, August, and September, and they're releasing one single the 9th of every month
Interesting. Okay.
with a video attached to it. The videos are I think they're gonna have videos for all of the songs, and they have an overarching theme, kind of like what Fallout Boy did for Save Rock and Roll, which
Yeah.
I'm going to put this out there. Save Rock and Roll is one of my favorite Fallout Boy albums of all time. I don't care if you guys give me flack. It's solid. But that aside, um, yeah. So if they're releasing it on the 22nd or the 15th, are they gonna? It's I think it's the 15th. Are they gonna
It's the
release?
15th. Yeah,
Yeah, are they gonna release another single on the 9th of October?
maybe. I would hope so because I
Yeah,
have noticed that there's an overarching theme with the videos, so I do
yeah.
kind of want to see where it goes.
So I mean, because then I mean that's gonna be the literally 1 week before it releases. So I mean that would make
Yeah,
some sense. And I guess they planned that out when they put a release date in. They're like, oh, well, what's 1 week before? Every ninth, boom. That makes a lot more sense now. But so yeah, I could definitely see them releasing another single. So we'll probably get 4 pre-album singles from that album. What else was there? What else was there?
well, one of probably the best thing that I heard this week from the singles aspect, single song aspect, excuse me, was from the Blacklist, tying into our last episode. Um, if anybody is unfamiliar, Metallica re-released the they remastered the Black Album, and they also did a collaborative effort with 52 artists to do covers of all of the songs on the Black Album. And one of those songs was "Through the Never" by The Who, a Mongolian metal band.
Oh, okay,
And
okay. I was like, wait,
just
what?
the Mongolian metal band The Who, not to be confused with the British classic rock band The Who. And this just their cover of Through the Never blew me away. It was amazing to hear this song in a really completely new light. It was performed with, their kind of traditional Mongolian instruments, and was performed in entirely in Mongolian.
Oh, nice, nice.
An incredible reimagining of the song. It blew me away. I literally got goosebumps when I heard it.
I'll have
Amazing
to.
song. Listen to it.
I will definitely have to put that one on. There's another one I just noticed on here because, like, so what I'm noticing is, I mean, it's a 53 song album, so you're gonna have to take a couple goes through of the track list and finding stuff. I mean, so far the ones that I've really hit home are Mac DeMarco and Weezer's covers of Enter Sandman, which I mean, we already talked about Weezer's cover, but Mac DeMarco's cover of Enter Sandman is like nothing I've ever heard Mac DeMarco do before. I have a very good friend who is a big Mac DeMarco fan, and I played it for him, and he was like, "Oh, what's this?" I was like, "This is Mac DeMarco." He's like, "This is Mac DeMarco." I was like, "Yes, this is Mac DeMarco." It's very different from anything he's ever done. Really cool. Um, but Corey Taylor, Holier Than Thou, that was incredible. And we both talked about this beforehand. I mean, just a solid job, well done. I couldn't have asked for anything more.
His cover was it was really true to the original, but you could tell, like, Corey's got an unmistakable voice, and he put his little spin on it while keeping it true to the original. And then he put a little twist at the end with a little whiplash
Yeah,
from Kill 'Em All in there. It was, oh, so good,
yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
And I was more, like I said to you before we started, I was a little concerned he was going to go Stone Sour route. I really think it should have just been a Slipknot cover, to be honest. I mean, imagine all those drums. That would have been
Fantastic.
incredible. But I mean, hey, I'm not gonna complain. Corey Taylor, it's still Corey Taylor. Cage the Elephant did The Unforgiven, and that's what I was listening to before we started. That was really good. I just noticed there's an EDM cover on here by the Neptunes that I'm gonna have to listen to for Wherever I May Roam. Um, so like as you're going through this track list, you find more and more and more that you're like, oh man, that looks really cool. Oh man, that looks really cool. Um, I do actually want to talk about the remastering though, because have you looked through the track list at all?
Not.
There's a lot of really cool stuff. So the first couple ones are live at Wembley. Um, they have a playing of the Ecstasy of Gold.
Ooh,
Couple at the Tashinu Airfield. Um, and Moscow. Then they have stuff from James's Riff tapes. So they have The
Okay.
Unforgiven and Nothing Else Matters, Sad But True, all of that from James's Riff tapes. They have Kirk's riff tapes. Um, there's one song for Jason's riff tapes, or oh, that's yeah, Jason's riff tapes. The writing sessions, the 1990 demo sessions, the August 13th demo session, August 22nd, September 3rd pre-production rehearsal, radio edits, early takes and like specific takes of songs throughout their like creation. Um and I mean, you get to the end at the bottom and you find out, yeah, this is 193 songs with 15 hours and 37 minutes of content.
Jeez.
Uh, um, but it's really cool. And I definitely need to dig into that a little bit, especially the Enter Sandman ones, because I definitely want to see how that evolved and changed over time,
Yeah.
and seeing how a song so prolific in my lifetime that I have heard countless of times could have been completely different.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same, particularly with Nothing Else Matters. That's it's not one of my favorite songs by Metallica, but the solo at the end
Yes.
is my favorite Metallica solo, and it's actually a James solo. It's not a Kirk solo.
Oh, oh, cool. Um,
So I'll be interested to see kind of what the iterations of that song were and how that solo might have been different, and if Kirk played it and then they changed it to James, or how that all went. I'll be
yeah.
interested to see how that all played out.
Um, do you know who Guar is?
Yes.
So I mean, I just threw this in here because I saw them. I saw something from them this week, and I don't know what it was, but apparently this week kicks off the Scumdogs 30th anniversary tour. On Thursday, so today in Richmond, Virginia, they're kicking off the Scumdogs 30th anniversary tour. I don't listen to Guar, but you know they're homegrown local talent, and I'll totally shout them out. They're a little weird for my taste. Um,
I didn't know they were local to you.
well, yeah, I mean,
They're a band
Richmond, yeah.
that I've never really sought out Guar, but every time that I've been listening to something and somebody tells me this is Guar, I'm like, wait, this is Guar? This is really good.
I feel like their image that kind of get like I'm just completely turned off by the whole like costumes and stuff because I feel like it's
Mm.
taking it way over the top. Granted, you know, I listen to bands like Black Veil Brides who used to be Kiss Jr. and like Motionless in White used to be a lot more like like I don't want to say emo because it's not really emo, but like vampire esque.
Hmm.
Like they really had a lot of makeup in their early days. I mean, Slipknot, they all wear masks. Like they all have their gimmicks, but I always felt like Guar was like completely and utterly over the top. But then again, they're from Richmond, so yeah, you go.
Got to support those local bands.
You have to. There's so many bands and even musical talents in and around your various cities, states, and you got to shout them out because I mean, you never know who it's going to be. My favorite one, Pusha T. Pusha T is from Virginia Beach, and I will to the day I die. That's whose side of the beef I'm on with him and Drake. But that's beside. This is not a rap podcast. This is metal and rock. What else was there? Oh, Shatter by so Bullet for My Valentine is releasing a new album, and they released their third single.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was really good. Again, I've seen Bullet for My Valentine. I can't tell you that I could actually pick out which songs I saw from them live because it was the first time I really was exposed to them. But I haven't really sat down and listened to them, and that was Shatter was incredible.
Yeah, I have the perspective of being a longtime Bullet fan. I've seen Bullet, I think 4 times now,
Yeah,
3 or 4, and I've been a fan of them since since The Poison came out way back in what 2005 or something like that.
yeah,
So I'm a big fan, and I've been really disappointed in their recent efforts. I thought Temper Temper was terrible. Gravity was I don't will not even speak of Gravity. Um, but it sounds like they're getting back to the classic Bullet sound with this new album. They've released 3 singles from it: Knives, Parasite, and now Shatter. And I think Shatter is probably the best of the three. Um, it's so so Bullet, so classic Bullet with the the kind of clean melodies, Matt screaming, a screaming guitar solo in there. It's everything I want from my Bullet for my Valentine experience, and it's got me really hopeful for the album that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to give it a spin. And then I do want to shout out one of our fellow ATB. I believe he's a writer, Josh Berg. Um,
Yeah.
he there's now this is a song I need to listen to, and I haven't listened to yet. But there's a band that I used to listen to very heavily called the Amity Affliction. Um, used to love them. Really, like they have an album called Let the Ocean Take Me, and that album is incredible. And then they just took a huge nosedive. It was awful. Like it was horrific. But he tweeted and he was like, the new Amity Affliction song is is better than easily anything off their previous album. And we had a little back and forth, and I guess it's like they're getting back there. So I'm definitely gonna have to give that a spin, see how I like that. Because I mean the same thing with Memphis Bay Fire a few episodes ago. I understand growth, but I also am not gonna not take it when I like their music.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna fault a band for wanting to grow as musicians and wanting to explore other influences, but I'm not always going to enjoy it. And
Yeah,
that's what happened with Bullet. They went a different direction with Temper. They went a different direction with Gravity, and I'm not going to fault them for that. I'm not going to complain about it. It just wasn't a sound that I enjoyed. But it sounds like they're getting back to it with this one, and I'm really excited.
and sometimes it honestly depends. Sometimes these artists do that, and you have people like Bring Me the Horizon who completely jump genres and continually get more famous and more successful. And then you have other artists who probably decided that, hey, let's make a change. They release something and it doesn't do well, and they're like, all right, well, maybe we should step it back a little bit. And I mean, there's been plenty of artists I've lost that I don't listen to at all anymore that I used to be very into, because I just could not get down with the direction. But I mean, if they want to do that, go for them. I would rather them make the music they want to make than them getting on stage and doing unpassioned performances for just these songs because this is what the fans want.
Right. And I think
Um,
sometimes fans forget that music is about expression and, you know, letting go of emotions and feelings and being able to express who you are as an artist and a person. It's not about just putting out the same shit every time because
and
that's
put
what the fans want to hear.
exactly. And I mean that's exactly to a point what Ollie Sykes said when he was asked about the change. He's like, we don't even listen to that music anymore. Why would we make music we don't even listen to anymore? Like, and I mean that's a good point. I won't lie. I took a hip hop class in college. I recorded a mixtape. I listened to my own mixtape because if you're gonna make music, why wouldn't you make the music that you wouldn't listen to? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you got to make stuff that you would want to hear because if you hear it, how can you expect somebody else to want to hear it?
Exactly. I mean, like, there's can't like, and like, I only use hip hop because a lot of my friends, this is a big crossover, but like, I know what my friends like in hip hop. And if it's something that I would listen to because we have similar taste, then they would be more likely to listen to it and then blah. And then it goes down that chain. Same thing with rock, same thing with pop, same thing with jazz, same thing with uh, gospel, same thing with country, same thing with everything. You have to make something that if you like that music, that you would want to listen to it. So, yeah, Bring Me the Horizon didn't listen to metalcore anymore. So why would you expect them to continue to make it? Um, Now, and as I just said, maybe and some bands try to go a different route to maybe appeal to other groups of fans, but you have to play that game of keeping it close enough to what you've already done so that way you don't lose the old fan base, or you can just go the route and be like, screw it, we don't care.
Yeah, and plenty of bands have done both of those. Try to expand their sound while keeping it true to the original that brought in their fan base, and plenty of bands have been like, fuck it, this is what we want to do, and we don't care if it alienates the fan base. We're at a different point in our lives now. And I respect both of those approaches to music. They're both valid in my opinion. One of them appeals to me more than the other. But I'm not the artist, and I can't fault any artist for any approach they take to their self-expression.
Another fantastic example I have of a band that went the fuck it route and just said screw everybody. Do you remember Breathe Carolina? Is that a name you know?
That is not.
Okay. They were a bit like electro metalcore. Kind of in like, do you know Icy Stars?
I've heard it, but I haven't. I've heard
Okay.
the name, but I haven't heard the
Yeah.
band.
So kind of like in like that like kind of electronic metal area. Um and they completely dropped it and went straight EDM. And there's an album I have, and it's the album before they went like completely straight EDM, and they were starting to put those like electro sounds in their songs. And there is a song on that called Sellouts featuring Danny Worsnop, and it was just basically just a big fu to anybody who was like, oh, your new music stinks, we want screaming. And it just has Danny on there screaming, but it's just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that anymore, goodbye. You call us sellouts, but that you're like, who cares, we don't care anymore. It's great, I love it. But yeah.
You know what? I respect that approach. I respect the balls that it takes to say this is what we want to do, and we to a degree don't care if it alienates people. This is who we are. This is what we want to do. If you like it, great. If you don't, sorry.
Yeah, the unfortunate end to that story is that I could tell you quite a few songs from before that album that I own that they made. I can't tell you a single one after. So
I mean, that's
they
the
were never
risk.
nearly as popular as they were. But hey, I mean that's the trade-off sometimes. And I mean
Right.
that's what some artists will take as opposed to it's kind of the same thing with the like child actor or like the getting stuck. McLovin is I just watched this video about about McLovin, the like the guy that the actor, and like why he doesn't get a lot of roles, and part of it is because like when you do specific stuff like super bad and you're McLovin or you're Stifler in American Pie, stuff like that, you get typecasted into this very, 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 very specific role. And some people aren't about it and they just decide, yeah, if that's what you want me to do, I'm good. I'll see you later. That's not what I want to make my image to be. Sorry, I had this one role that was really, really good and I knocked it out of the park, but I don't want to be McLovin or I don't want to be Stifler or all these things forever. Um, and it's kind of the same thing in music. Sometimes you get artists who are just like, yeah, we made this really cool. This is like really cool music, but it's not really what we vibe to. And it's not what we really want to be known for. So then they switch.
Yeah, and like I said, I respect it.
Yeah.
I'm not always going to like it, but I can't fault anybody for taking that creative approach.
Yeah, this is definitely a topic that we get to quite a bit on this podcast. Let artists do what they want to do.
I
um
mean, at the end of the day, like I said, it's about self-expression, and you gotta let you gotta let artists be who they are.
there's always more music in the same genre that you can find from other
Exactly.
bands.
There's countless bands out there who are making the music that you want to listen to. It doesn't always have to be from.
The same ones. Um, so was there anything else that was new specifically that you wanted to touch on from last week?
Yeah, there was one complete album that I listened to that also really grabbed me, really kind of blew me away, and it was by a band called Inferi. And first of all, they get their name from Harry Potter. And
Ooh.
while I might not be a Harry Potter fan, yeah, I gotta respect the nerd culture references.
Uh, well, unfortunately for you, Spoon, I'm a very big Harry Potter fan. When I was a very, very young child, I looked like Harry Potter and I had Harry Potter glasses, and that's what I was kind of known for as a very young kid. So big Harry Potter guy over here. I actually have a Lego Fox the Phoenix sitting up on top of my desk that I built.
Huh,
And the wings actually flap.
nice.
Yeah, I have a lot of really cool Legos. But that's not metal.
Yeah.
Back to Inferi.
I was never a Harry Potter guy, but like I said, I respect the nerd culture reference, and the album Vile Genesis blew me away. It was fantastic. It's technical mellow death, um, and with technical death metal, a lot of it can get overwhelming to a certain degree. It for me anyway, a lot of it can kind of lack feeling and lack heart and just kind of devolve into, hey, we're amazing at our instruments. Look at us go. But that's not what this album was. It
Yeah.
was well composed, it was well produced. There's a lot of technical brilliance to the instrumentation, but it's done in a way that really feels like it was intentional and that it came together really well. The vocals complement the technical brilliance of the instrumentation. It it's a really great technical mellow death album, and it's something that if you're a fan of melodic death metal, it's something you really should check out.
Yeah, and not to continue to bring Metallica up, but it's funny you mentioned the technical aspect because that was something that they were very well known for, and that's what caused a lot of internal struggle between the band and Rock, the producer, because they were like perfectionists, and the technical aspect of the instrumentation had to be just perfect for them, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, this is ridiculous."
Again, that's a
But
matter of
that's
self-expression and creativity.
exactly, exactly. That even more gets into the actual like passion for what they're doing and what they're playing, because when you spend so much time learning an instrument or learning a specific skill and you can master things that other people can't, and you just want it to be like, yo, I can do this, listen to this, and then like you want it to be perfect. Um because you have that mastery. It's something that you can
Right.
do, and not everybody can stroll up and just grab a bass and just start going crazy. Um,
Can confirm as an amateur bassist, I can confirm it is not as easy as it looks.
as an amateur guitar player, I would challenge anybody who has never picked up a guitar to play an F chord, and you won't be able to do it. It like stuff like that is hard. It's a reason why there was the dude that taught me guitar in high school. He was a guy I ran cross country with. He wrote a song for our talent show, an 8-minute song, and it was freaking incredible. Like this man was like slide guitaring and like all this stuff. It was like that stuff takes talent and time, and then when you can transform it into art, yeah, people are going to start going crazy and be like, yes, I want this to be specifically like this and stuff. And that's what, like you're saying, you have to have that nuance of being able to be like, yes, we are very technical, but that's not what is defining this song. It still all goes together. Like we have this talent, but we have a way of pulling it all together and doing these specific things to make an actual piece of art.
Right. You have it's a fine line between just I don't know a better way to phrase it, and this is gonna sound bad, but there's a fine line between showing off and composing something that is technically masterful, but also has the feeling of something that is intentional and well composed and fits together. You got to know when to play that balancing act of showing off your technical brilliance and then being able to kind of rein it in and dial it back a notch to fit a song.
It's the fine line of it being a jam session as opposed to it being a recording session.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Jam session versus recording session. I love it. Um, but yeah. So we do have some new music coming up. As always, there's new music every week. There's always new music coming out. As we were looking through this, I got tricked by Loudwire because they still have Don Bronco listed on here September 17th, and that really let me down. Um, but besides that, I mean, I will let you take it away because I know you're itching at you're just itching to talk about it. So, whose album's coming out this week, Spoon?
Spiritbox, finally. Eternal Blue is finally going to be here. Um, they're a band that I only discovered back in, I want to say, like late May, early June. But I feel like I've been anticipating this album for 5 years already. It's only been 3 months, but it feels like forever. I am absolutely in love with this band, and I cannot wait for this album to get here. I pre ordered it a couple of months ago. I've already got the confirmation that my pre order is on the way. Cannot wait till it gets here. This
Hopefully, it comes
album,
tomorrow so you can listen
I
to it
hope
before
so.
everybody else gets it.
I hope it gets here tomorrow, but we'll see. If worst comes to worst, I'll stream it on Friday when it drops, like everybody else. Um,
And by the way, just to clear up confusion, because this releases on Friday, by tomorrow we're recording on Wednesday, so he would get it the day before on Thursday.
Fully.
Hopefully,
Um,
hopefully, you guys will know. He'll be tweeting about it.
yeah. Oh yeah. You can. You'll catch me. You'll catch me on either account, either my Spoonful of Sport personal account or the ATB underscore blast beats, tweeting about it. Whether it's Thursday or Friday, I will be tweeting about this album. I'm so excited for it. It's got a ton of hype. We've already heard 5 of the 12 songs on the album, and they've all been diverse and incredibly different, but they've all been just absolute bangers. So I'm really, really excited to hear what the other 7 songs have in store for us. And the one that we haven't heard that I'm most looking forward to is the third track on the album called Yellow Jacket. That's the
Ooh.
one. That's the one that they did with Sam Carter of Architects.
Oh my God. That's
Uh,
a big
that's
name.
the big name. It promises to be a
Oh,
big song. I am
oh my
super
God.
excited for it.
Holy crap. Because what was it? Neck Deep on The Peace and the Panic, they had him on a song. And that one went hard. Sam Carter's always a fantastic feature.
I expect this to be one of the heavy songs on the album. I know it's going to have a lot of ebb and flow between really heavy songs and the kind of slowed down, subdued songs like Constance that ends the album.
Yeah.
Um, I think from the reviews that I've seen, I think that it opens with a sort of slower, more subdued song, Sun Killer, before it goes into Hurt You, the latest single that they dropped that absolutely just wrecks you with that breakdown in the middle.
Oh,
Uh, so I have a feeling the album is going to just take you for a ride between slow, subdued, mellow songs and just in your face Courtney screaming at you. It's I cannot wait. I cannot express how excited I am for this album, and I really hope it lives up to the expectations that I've set for it.
so it's gonna be a hell of a roller coaster.
Yes.
Yeah. So and so we were talking about Sam Carter, and like I believe I've mentioned this before about like looking at albums, and something I'm very very prone to doing is clicking on songs that have features from people I know. But one thing that you can do when you're looking at an album, and I mean Spoon, you are correctly assessing this for the feature on Spirit Boxes, but there's certain names that when you see them, you're like, oh, that's gonna be good, or oh, that's gonna be heavy, or oh, like in hip hop, if you see Kendrick like featuring Kendrick Lamar, you're like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be crazy. That's probably gonna be a really good song. In rock, if like Dave Grohl pops on somebody's thing, you're like, oh whoa, Dave Grohl's on that, and maybe I should check that out. In metalcore and metal and all that stuff, I mean, Sam Carter's one for me personally. Caleb Shomo's another.
Mhm.
These people that have like these vast experience and knowledge in writing and not necessarily at one specific spot, but like I told you, Caleb Shomo writes almost all the pieces for every instrument in Beartooth because he was doing that for Attack Attack before he turned 18. Um, and like helping them with their writing. The same thing goes into when he goes to other bands, he can just give them that talent and that experience and all that stuff. That's why when I saw it was We Came as Romans featuring Caleb Shum, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be insane.
Yeah. Well, and Spiritbox themselves, Courtney does
Yeah.
does a few features. She did a really great feature with Crown the Empire. So
Oh,
she's another one of those that anytime you see featuring Courtney LaPlante, know,
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
going to get some screaming. You're going to get some good cleans. You're going to get some screaming. You're going to get some in your face hard metal,
Yeah.
and it's going to be
And,
good.
and yeah, absolutely. Some things that I have my eyes on. Thrice has their new album Horizons East, coming off of Epitaph. And Epitaph is a solid record label. Um, I'm excited for that. I don't know if it's specifically been. I don't know if we confirmed if it's actually been 5 years or not. Because I don't know if that was the last album. No. No, they released something in 2018. Palms. Oh, it was only an EP though. It was only an EP. They released this September 2018, but it's an EP. That's a very long EP for that's a very long EP, a 10-song EP. Um,
A full album.
okay, no, it's a full album. Okay, then they must have. I think what it was is they released. Okay, they released like 4 songs as an EP. Yeah, yeah. Okay. But no, the last album I remember listening to by them was To Be Everywhere is to Be Nowhere. We were talking about Black Honey before. Um, that was a really solid album. I remember that specifically because um, that was in when I was in college and I was at the radio station and that came in on the rotation stacks, the new music rotation, and I used and abused that song or that album because it's not every day that I would get an album from somebody that I knew. And if I
Mhm.
go, I would love to go back for a show and like like read you some of the names of the bands of stuff that I had to play. Um, because it's kind of funny. And like I said in past episodes, I understand why they did it. They played the songs that nobody else would play, and not because they're bad, but because they're not top 40 and they're not just
Right.
commercially driven. And that honestly gives you better programming, but you have to be a little lenient. Um, but yeah, Thrice, that'll be really cool. There's also the Plot and You from they're releasing where is it? Swan Song off of Fearless. So that'll be interesting. Um, and then was there any other? There was another one that you had mentioned, Spoon.
Yes. Alien Weaponry is
Yes.
also dropping a new album. Tangaroa off of Napalm Records. Uh, brilliant, brilliant label. Love almost everything on Napalm Records. They're one of the they're one of the top music labels out there for me. And Alien Weaponry is a band that I just discovered probably late 2019. I want to say September or October of 2019 is when I first heard. Um, uh, I think it was their song Kai Tangata off their previous album Two, and I instantly it was just like blown away by this band. They're from New Zealand and they have Maori ancestry. So
Ooh, oh my God, that
a
sounds
lot of their songs
incredible.
are a lot of their songs are in Te Reo, the Maori language, and have to do with themes of Maori history and um, Kai Tangata specifically has to do with kind of um, their first interactions with white people and how that didn't go great for the Maori people. Um,
Yeah.
and like I said, it blew me away so much so that band in September or October, and by the end of the year, they were one of my most played on Spotify.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're
That's
they're
awesome.
incredible. I love them. I love the fact that a lot of the songs are not in a language that I understand. I really enjoy hearing bands that have songs that aren't in English. It's something that I really enjoy, even though I have no idea what I'm listening to
Yeah.
lyrically. I really enjoy hearing metal in different languages. So I'm really excited for the Alien Weaponry release. It's going to be, I know it's going to be really thrashy, and it's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be just something that's going to really speak to me. I don't know if it's going to reach Spiritbox levels for me, but those are the two releases that I'm probably going to spend most of my week next week listening to. So I'm going to
Yeah.
apologize in advance for not getting to a lot of new music because I'm going to be spending a lot of time on those two releases.
Well, I will try to make up some ground this week because I don't think there's well, I mean, I don't know. Some people have been dropping stuff out of the blue. So we'll find out. We'll find out. I was looking at the 24th. Um, the week the releases for the week of the 24th, all the way at the bottom. Have you ever heard of a band called We Butter the Bread with Butter?
I have only because of um, two reaction video people from YouTube that I watch pretty regularly, Tank the Tech and Nick Nocturnal. They've both reacted to songs by We Butter the Bread with Butter. So that is kind of my exposure to them.
Well, one fantastic band name. Fantastic. Like that's just so random that it's just like, wait, what? Um, two, their album coming out in 2 weeks. You want to know what the name of it is?
This album,
Das Album. I love it. This is amazing. Like I'm like, do they actually play in German?
um, I'm trying to remember the songs that I've heard, and I don't remember whether they were in German or English.
Yeah, because I mean that I mean you kind of get into some like gray area there because I mean there's a lot of French and German and all those bands that do perform in English mostly. I
Yeah,
can think Chunk, no Captain Chunk. They don't speak any French in their songs. Maybe a very little bit. But it's mostly English. So I mean that would I mean I don't care if it's German or English. I think it will be pretty crazy either way. There it says they are deathcore, electronicore, and metalcore. So that
interesting.
definitely
Okay.
sounds like something. Many of their songs from this point were this was earlier on, or they did when they were like really early. They did covers of German folk tales and nursery rhymes, which also sounds amazing.
Nursery rhymes?
This okay,
Interesting.
okay, this is a band I'm gonna have to look into because one
Same.
the name is that's what you need. The name can capture it all. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Um, now
For for
we covered the wage war.
for me, next week there are, or not next week, next week, not this Friday, but the next Friday, there are two releases that I'm really looking forward to. The first one is Bad Flower.
Oh
This is
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really kind of want to see how they follow up their last album because I was a real big fan of it. So I've heard one of the songs that they've released, and it was pretty good. It wasn't my favorite of their releases, but it was pretty good. So I'm interested to see what direction they take this new album. And then the second one that I'm really looking forward to is Rivers of Nile.
Okay.
They're releasing The Work. They're on Metal Blade. Uh, it's their label, and that's another label that's big in metal circles. Um, if you're
I
if you're a
didn't.
fan of if you're a fan of hard, heavy music, chances are you listen to at least a couple of bands that are on Metal Blade, and they're a technical death metal band, another tech death band that I feel really kind of walks that line between showing off and being able to rein it in to make a well composed track that fits together. So I'm really looking forward to that album as well.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, we said Bad Flower. I'll definitely give We Butter the Bread a listen. With butter, we butter the bread with butter. I can tell you guys right now, one album I will not be talking about, and I'm just going to say it now, so I don't ever have to say it again. And I didn't think you were gonna say it, Spoon, so I wasn't worried about it. But there was like a 0.0001% chance of me that was like, oh God, I really hope he's not hoping for this. But Angels and Airwaves, we
I
don't
knew that was the one you were going to say.
we don't talk about Angels and Airwaves because I don't like Tom DeLonge, and and he didn't ruin Blink 182. Personally, I think they're better now because I love Matt Skiba. But yeah, I'm just telling you guys right now, we're not talking about that album in 2 weeks. It will not come up. This is your knowing that on September 24th, that band drops an album. I'm not even going to say their name again. But yeah, because that's from like looking at the what's it called? Looking at the labels, that's the only one from the big cores that I spent time growing up with because that's coming from Rise.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some music coming up. And then I mean, who knows what the schedule of singles, because singles definitely pop out of freaking nowhere. I mean, we were talking before we talked about Teeth, and that was incredible. But I was looking at Wage Wars pre-release on Apple Music on, I think it was Tuesday night, and oh no, Wednesday night or Monday night, because it's Thursday now. So Monday night I was looking at it and there wasn't anything there, and then Tuesday night into Wednesday morning they released that single, and oh yo, because it was Tuesday. Tuesday used to be the old release day. That's why. Oh, I miss music release Tuesdays.
I kind of do too, in a way. It was nice to kind of have that midweek bump, but I really
Yeah,
love everything dropping on Friday, and you got the whole weekend to
yeah.
catch up on everything.
My way of always looking at it was like Mondays always stink and everybody always thinks Mondays stink, so everybody's in the same mood, so it's not really that bad. Like if you think about it in the long run, if everybody thinks Mondays suck, then they don't really suck that bad because everybody thinks that way. Um Tuesdays are the worst because there's nothing special about Tuesdays. What happens on Tuesdays? Nothing. Like
Coast.
Wednesdays in the middle of the, well, tacos, yeah. I really only I eat tacos from one place and one place only, and just their fish tacos. I'm not a big taco fan. So
Really?
yeah,
I'm disappointed in you, Zach.
I don't necessarily like spice from the Hispanic cuisine. I'm more of an Asian spice cuisine guy. Um, it messes my stomach up.
And that's fair, but still,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
disappointed.
Like
Disappointed in you.
the only it's funny because my family loves Mexican food, and whenever we go to like Mexican restaurants and stuff like that, I only order desserts. Like literally
I mean,
exclusively. I eat
Mexican
desserts.
desserts are fire.
Well, yeah, desserts and guac. That's about it. Because those are
Ooh.
the two things those are the two things oh, and margaritas, because I mean
Yeah, I
tequila's
mean, who
nice.
doesn't love a margarita?
Tequila's nice. But no. What were we talking about? um
Singles and Tuesdays.
and yeah, Tuesday. So like there's nothing about Tuesday. Like there was nothing about Tuesdays besides tacos now. Wednesdays is hump day. Thursday's the day before before Friday. So everybody's like, oh, the weekend's coming. Friday's Friday because everybody loves Friday. And then you have the weekend, and then you're back on Monday. Everybody hates Monday, but what about Tuesday?
Yeah, it was nice to have that kind of to look forward to on a Tuesday because, like you
Yeah,
said, nothing really happens on a Tuesday. Um, but I really do like the shift to
yeah. I think it
Fridays
was
being release day.
I think it was more because of a worldwide thing. Again, the United States had to be different from everybody else, and everybody else released their music on Friday, and we released our music on Tuesday, just like we still have the U.S. standard system for measurement. But well, that's a completely different podcast topic.
I could rant on that for a while, but let's not.
The only positive about going to the metric system is that everybody would get a little bit shorter, but I would get shorter too. So the numbers wouldn't be as big.
Already short enough. I don't need to be shorter.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this newest episode of Blast Beats. It's always a blast recording for you guys. I did want to put this out because somebody last week put something out. Spoon, you tweeted about the podcast, and since I had COVID, I haven't seen my family that much. It's just been a little too crazy at work. I obviously was in quarantine before that. So the last time I saw my mom was literally the day after I had to go in quarantine when she brought me like a big care package of stuff because I didn't really have a lot. And she stopped by my work, and it was the first time that she had stopped by my work that I hadn't, or that I was finally able to like talk to her because it's been so busy. And she came in, she was just like, I want to tell you, your voice, you can hear it in your voice. You're so happy and so joyful when you're recording. And that's like what I said at the beginning of the podcast. Like, I could, if when we talk about like how our day or our week is going, I could go on a 3-4 hour rant. But, you know, I'm here to talk about music. I'm here to have a great time. It's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed doing this. And it just gives me a little bit of an escape, which is the beautiful thing about music, is that it gives so many people a little escape from reality, from whatever they're dealing with, and a place to go to. So I just want to say thank you, Spoon, because this is, I mean, obviously it's only once a week, but it's just great to sit down and dish with a really, really good friend and dish about like cool new music and stuff that we're both into. And it's been great. But I just want to thank everybody because it has been a positive over the past couple of weeks where I haven't had a lot of positives.
I feel the exact same way. I was talking to somebody on Twitter about this podcast, and just how much joy it has brought me to be able to talk with a good friend who has the same musical tastes that I do, and get to listen to a lot of music that I wouldn't have otherwise discovered. It's been a real mood lifter over this past now 5 weeks that we've been doing this, and I'm really thankful for you being my co-host on this, and for Ronnie, the head honcho at ATB Network, giving us the space to do this.
Oh yeah, Ronnie's the man, and like I said, I kind of had a inkling when I reached out to him that it was going to be you, because I had saw that you were writing for ATB and doing some stuff, and I was like, oh, that's my metal buddy. I know he's there. We used to have
Yep.
there used to be a big group when we were both at PFN of metalheads, and we would all talk about metal in the chats, and it was really cool. I miss my PFN metalheads. But yeah, it's been great, and we're gonna continue to make this. One thing I did want to say is we talked about Josh. I want to see maybe we can try to drag him onto the podcast sometime, talk about some metal, and try to get some. There's a ton of people at ATB that also listen to metal, and maybe get some guests on here. That could definitely be really fun, awesome for the episodes. But maybe we'll reach out to them in the ATB group chat and see how they feel about it. I mean, I'm sure that would
Yeah,
be
for
great.
sure.
Yeah. Just like a little spice here and there, you know, get another voice. I actually did that for a little bit, doing guests for the podcast for the Dolphins at PFN. It was kind of cool to do that. I miss Kai. But yeah. So this has been the newest episode of Blast Beats. We'll see you guys soon. My name is Zach Nur. You can catch me at Zach Nur, ZACHKNERR on Twitter. And as we said earlier, we have the Blast Beats Twitter account at ATB_Blast Beats. And Spoon, send it off for you.
Yeah, you can follow me at Spoonful of Sport, or you can catch me on the aforementioned ATB_Blast Beats Twitter account.
And everybody have a fantastic weekend. Can't wait to record for the next episode, and we will see you lovely people very soon.